even with this, what you said now, that there are portions of a document that were written from inference, from hearsay, I'm just paraphrasing what you said. But the facts, there are those who believe that the facts revealed in that document tally with other reports that had been, for instance, the Nigeria Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative said that report tallies with what they had. And the report of KPMG into the petroleum industry, more or less, some say it tallies with what the Ribadu Committee report looks like. So are you now saying that we shouldn't, that report cannot hold water?
I am saying that in any nation worth its salt, when such task forces are set up and the results of the task forces are being evaluated and acted upon, they must be acted upon within the rule of law. The rule of law states that nobody is guilty until, nobody is presumed guilty. You are innocent until you are found guilty. So if you make broad statements in the document, you have agreed that there are facts or there are expressions of intent, and there are also issues in the statement, in the document, which have not been ratified, which have not been verified. Then how do you expect it to stand in the court of law? Because at the end of the day, the idea is that we are no longer in a military government where people are just arrested and locked up. We are going to take them to court. It will be subjected to the process of legal processes. And at the end of the day, if it is weak, if your arguments are weak, if your assertions are weak, if they are not founded and grounded on fact, you lose the whole case. So the whole purpose that the Nigerians asked Mr. President to look into the oil issues is defeated ab initio.
No, but the government is aware of the fact that, the presumption of innocence of our laws before they set up this committee and several other committees before this one.
Yes.
And the way they always go about it, which they always come up with this committee, then they come up with a white paper. They never take anything any committee brings to them hook, line, and sinker. So why shouldn't they act on some part of this report that they think is right?
Because everybody has lawyers, and everybody can read the document. And at the end of the day, some of the lawyers are going to come up and say, my lord, I put it to you that this document is untenable before the court of law.
That's assuming they were going to act on this report wholly, hook, line, and sinker. Yes. But that's never the case.
Well, how does the government act on a report? It looks through the report. It sifts through it. It looks at those things that are verifiable, that can stand scrutiny in court, and it acts on those. Those that seem to be presuppositions or assumptions cannot be dealt with in this manner. And that is a challenge that the people have. I also want to say something. It is important to have an understanding of what is going on here. That is, Nuhu Ribadu, a sterling police officer, has been an investigative officer for so many years. His approach has always been, particularly in the EFCC, where he felt or sees that there is an anomaly, he first of all arrests everybody. And then the investigation, they go to court, they get bail, and then investigation starts. Now, it is that approach that has been brought to this committee, because we are informed in the public that at the time EFCC was invited to start picking up people, and then the committee members had to say no. We are going beyond the terms of reference of our
We'll come to that
task force
in a bit, but the impression I have there, because people, when Mr. Bernard Oti and Mr. Steve Oronsanye were appointed members of the board of NNPC, one in finance and Mr. Oronsanye in the other, the expectation of Nigerians was that since you're a member of this special revenue task force and you're appointed into NNPC, of which this same committee is going to be looking into their books, the honorable thing to have done was to resign from this committee. They didn't do that. Shouldn't they have done it?
I'm sorry. I want to disagree with you there. And the point is this. An investigative committee is different from a fact-finding committee. This was not a police committee, which unfortunately it seems as if Nuhu Ribadu conceived of it as that. This was a fact-finding committee to give government the terms to be able to look into these issues and find out where the anomalies were.
It would have been easier.
Where are the royalty payments? Were they paid What are the debts that are being owed? Have
you
they
know,
been
you know all
serviced?
of this because you've worked with the civil service at a very top level. If Mr. Oronsai were to have attended the meetings, I'm quite sure he would have put Nuhu Ribadu.
That is another fallacy. That is another fallacy.
Nuhu Ribadu back on track, because Mr. Ribadu did say, well, he didn't see him at any point in time at their sittings.
That is not totally correct.
But you heard Ribadu say that in public.
Well, let me put it this way. The newspapers reported that he said so. I have given interviews myself in the past. And nowadays, when I give interviews, I insist on recording them. At the same time, the reporter is recording. So that when something comes out that I don't agree with, I can just show you my own recording and say, it is not right, it is not correct. Now, many of these things are hearsay. Many of these things are wishful thinking. Many of these things are emanate from party differences. I am saying that Mr. Steve Oronsai did attend meetings, but he also was appointed to head other committees, the committees to look into the ratification of parastatals and government agencies. And that was why he said he did not attend a few meetings, but he attended quite a number of meetings at which he had inputs. And one of the major inputs he had at that time, which is still under issue today, is the fact that there were too many assumptions not backed by solid facts.
But this one,
and that would cause a weakness in the document, and that the document would not be tenable at the end of the day.
Mr. Shegun, but on this very case, we have it on tape where Mr. Ribadu said it on camera that Mr. Oronsai was not at that particular meeting.
Well, this is not something we need to argue here. You can call for the attendance reports. I mean, as investigative reporters, you can call for the attendance of the meetings. And then, you know, Mr. Oronsai said he attended meetings. And I do not see why a man of such integrity in this nation should not tell the truth.
You seem to know so much about this committee. Did you in any way attend any of their meetings?
No, I didn't attend any of the meetings. But you see, there are quite a number of us in Nigeria today, people who are intelligent, people who would want to put their gifts to the service of the nation, but have not been given the opportunity to do so. I have run for Senate twice in Lagos State. The first time in 2003, I can tell you that were it not for the circumstances that prevailed at that time, I should have become the senator. So I'm talking about, I'm talking from experience. I'm talking from the understanding of the average intelligent Nigerian who follows issues and goes deeply into them. This particular issue interests me because I have been in government, and for too long we have allowed the vilification and the total rubbishing of men of great repute, and we need to avoid that. So I am not just speaking, I'm not speaking here for any particular person. I am saying Mr. Steve Oronsai has a reputation, it should not be rubbished. Nuhu Ribadu has a reputation, it should not be rubbished. We have to be careful in what we do in this nation.